Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, no, I'm going. Another one came out?
I just pulled it all the way. You know, by me pulling them up, the more you play with them, they get. But I can put this back in. It's not them back ones either.
Well, hopefully we're back up over at South. I'm not absolutely sure if we are.
You need to go ask the lady. Producer.
Miss Kim has called me.
Yeah, the TV should
show
you.
You want to
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
They want you to refresh the
I did do that.
You did?
Is it up?
You're back up.
Ah,
Okay.
I can. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right, so we are back up. So we were doing a whole lot of talking and everything. Devil didn't like what we were saying, so he shut y'all down over there. So we're back up now. So we're looking at spiritual things now. The first thing we talked about, what's the purpose of my life? Now I can tell the purpose of some of y'all's life. It is to eat, because every one of y'all chewing. You know. All right. So here's another question that's a spiritual thing, because people, you know, most of the time, if you ask people the question, do you think you are a good person? What do you think, ma'am? You're a good person?
I believe I am.
I believe I am good. What do you think? You're a good person?
I have my ways.
You're a good person?
Not on my own, I'm not.
Well, see, you're a good person?
Yes.
Yes. How about you?
Sometimes.
That's time. How about you?
It's my personality.
When she cares.
Yeah. How about you? A good person?
I'm like halfway.
You about halfway, sometimes you're bad. Or you're a good person?
I would say I'm lukewarm.
You're lukewarm. You're a good person.
She's
We're a good person. See, here's the deal. I'm a good person. Why do I say I'm a good person?
Because you are. Because you are.
Well, because I want to feel good about myself.
Because you're a pastor?
Yeah, I've done so many things. I am a pastor, but being a pastor makes you a good person?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
got
ma'am.
pastors. No, I was going to say that. They got pastors.
Look at the ones that mess with the
They got pastors that do godly stuff.
There's
Don't you
some
have to be
people, it
careful?
doesn't make any
You have
difference.
to have the heart to be a good person, or you would be a pastor.
Don't you have to be careful about calling yourself a good person, because it can become very prideful?
Well, you need to be careful about being full of pride and all of that kind of stuff. But look, we do teach, and I've taught for probably 40 years now, that you have to use self-talk, positive, good self-talk. So you need to be telling yourself what you want yourself to be.
Okay.
I want to be a good person. I want to be a good pastor. I'm not the best. I want to be a good pastor. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good granddad. I want to be a good teacher. I want to be a good employee. That's why, you know, I want to make sure all of this stuff is working the way it's supposed to work. I want to be those things. And the only way, you know, you have to try, you have to work at it, but at the same time, you need to be telling yourself that that's what you want to be. It's not lying to yourself. If right now you're not good at it, you need to tell yourself that you are. That's not lying to yourself. That's telling yourself what your goal is. And if you have a good, positive goal, will that come true?
Yes, sir.
It probably will. It more than likely will, and there's more of a chance of it coming true if you're using positive self-talk than if it doesn't. But what does it mean to be a good person? That's the question.
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Say that again.
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Treat other people the way that you want to be treated. That's a good person. That's being a good person. How about if somebody has a need, you're going to fulfill it?
Generous.
If you can't, a lot of times I want to fulfill somebody's needs, but I don't have the wherewithal to do that. You know, I don't have the funds or the wherewithal, or somebody needs a car. I have a really nice little car. It's old, but it's a nice little car. But I'm not going to give them my car because I need it, but I would like to. So what does it mean to be a good person? Just have good thoughts? Do good deeds
When no one's looking.
when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
main
Do
thing.
your
Why
good
you wanna
deeds.
do good deeds is to get
Do your good deeds in the dark, and you know. So we need to go. Look, here's why the question is there. I need to go to my higher power and ask my higher power, how do I be a good person? Because here's the deal. Look, I don't really know how to be a good person. Here, the Bible tells us, again, going back to the Bible for a minute, but the Bible tells us that we're supposed to have God first, other people second, and then me, I'm third. Is that true in our life?
You need to
Usually
know.
no.
Yeah,
Usually
for
we're
me.
very
It's
self-centered.
usually self,
Yeah.
and then on Sunday we'll stick God in there if we've got 10 minutes. But you know, usually we don't have 10 minutes for God on Sunday morning. And then it may be other people if we've got all of our bases covered. Yes, ma'am.
I'm confused now because we're watching this thing and it says that you need to put yourself on top, but you're teaching us that we can put. I mean, I would understand you need to put God first.
That's not what that was teaching us.
No.
That's not what that was teaching us.
That was something
That's about to
totally
make yourself. That's about working on yourself. It's,
Right.
That's your connections with. It's your connection with your body, your connection with other people, and then you put yourself on top. But that you notice the top of the pyramid is smaller than the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Right? But that's because it's working for yourself. It's something on self-help and not your. And like you said, you have to put yourself first.
I'm sorry, I was just confused.
We have to, while we're in the treatment and while we're trying to get into recovery, we need to know that we need to be looking at who we are right now.
Yeah.
We need to be working on who we are right now because this is not who we want to be. This is not, I don't want to be here. This is look, I've worked in several treatment facilities. This is a good one.
Oh yeah.
This is a good one. You know, this is a good place to be. It's a safe place to be. There's good food here. It's not the Ritz. It's not all of that. But I will tell you, this is a good place to be. But it's not where you want to spend your life. No, we want to spend the portion of our lives that we need to spend here so that we can spend the rest of our lives somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we want to do. But once we get through with all of this, we've got ourselves where we need to be. We need to make sure that we've got God first, and then other people second. Do we always consider whether or not that person has something to eat before I eat?
Yeah.
Do you? That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Most people don't. When I'm hungry, I'm feeding me.
Yeah.
Then we'll see about you. You know, but it should be the other way around, and we should be doing some of those things. Another question is, look, this is another thing we need to go to our higher power. Why do I suffer?
Because
Right.
he suffered.
Say that again.
He suffered.
Well, he did, but that doesn't. Just because Jesus suffered on that cross doesn't mean we need to suffer. Why are we here in this world and suffering?
Because of our sin.
That's an unknowable.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. What was
I said because of our sin.
because of sin. It's really an unknowable. We don't look. All of us suffer on different levels, right?
Yeah.
So if that's going on in my life, look, some of the times I suffer when I don't need to suffer.
Yes.
How many people's ever had a hangover?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You know, was that a form of suffering?
Well, we reap what we sow.
Oh yeah, that was horrible. However, that was something we did to ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't have to question what that is. The addiction itself is a form of suffering. We suffer.
Yeah, but it
Because
falls
of
under
that.
the life isn't fair thing.
Yeah, life isn't fair. So we need to go to our God, our higher power, with that question. Why is it like this? Why am I suffering? Why this is life, and usually life is going to have bumps in the road, you know. But when we are at a place where we're suffering and something like that, usually sometimes other people can help us, right? But usually we need to go to our higher power because that's a real deep question. Because I'm going to tell you this: that some of the stuff that makes me suffer, and I suffer. So some of the things that make me suffer wouldn't bother you at all. Wouldn't bother you. It wouldn't cause you to suffer. Wouldn't cause you to have issues. Wouldn't cause you to have any stress in your life. It just wouldn't. But it causes me to suffer. So that has to be a conversation that if I can't find some person that's going to help me do, I need to go to my higher power. Here's the deal. If I don't have a higher power, what am I going to do?
You're gonna eat it whatever.
I'm going to be without. Yeah. If I don't have a higher power to go to, then I'm going to do without. Right? So this is why it's important for me to have a high. There are so many imponderables. You don't know what an imponderable is? Something that can't be explained. I can't, a long time ago they used to say, well, I'm going to go sit and ponder that. Ponder means to think about it deeply. And so if it's an imponderable, I can't even think about, why would a good God let bad things happen?
To chastise.
Because eventually there's a lesson.
We got nine different answers. And here's the real truth. Y'all got no idea. So why do I suffer? Does everything? Here's another question for my higher power. Does everything in my life happen for a reason?
Yes.
We had 19 yeses and 1 no. She just ain't in the group at all. Yeah.
I think things just happen.
Things do happen. A lot of times, most of the time, things don't happen for a reason. A lot of the times, most of the time, things happen because I set them in motion. Why did you?
A reaction to
every action.
Cause
every action has a reaction.
Yeah.
Why did you go to jail the last time you went to jail? Was that meant to happen?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it was meant to happen. The police meant to get you. I had a guy tell me one time he had like 4 DWIs. I said, man, what are you doing? He said, them police are just, I know you ain't going to believe it, but them police are just out to get me. I do believe it. They're out to get all the people out there driving drunk. That is what they're doing. So does everything happen for a reason?
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen for a reason. Sometimes they happen just because we're doing things that we shouldn't be doing, perhaps. How about this? How am I connected to the world around me? How am I connected? How are we connected to one another? Say it again. We do all have issues. But we're all human beings too, right? We're all people. We're all God's creation. So we're all connected. This is where we get to that place where we understand I ought to care what happens to you, right? I ought to care what happens to that other person that's living. I don't like them all that much because, they don't wash their feet enough or something, whatever it is. But I ought to care what happens to them because we're all connected. We're all part of the family of God, right? We're all part of the family of man, right? We are connected in that way. How are we connected to nature?
We were made from dirt.
She was made from dirt. You need to go and read the Bible. Girls were not made from.
We were made from the rib. That's true.
Yeah. That's why. I was going to say something next, but I'm not.
You were made from dirt.
That's why women can be harder than guys because guys are made from dirt, but women are made from bone.
Yeah. That's what makes us strong.
Yeah. So that's how I'm connected. And here's the other thing. This is what I need to go to my higher power with. I need to talk about it. This is a spiritual thing. What's the best way for me to conduct myself in this world that I find myself in?
Respectful.
Humble.
Somebody said be respectful. Okay.
Of yourself.
Respectful of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got to be, if I'm respectful of myself, what does that mean?
You're not going to go out and just dress and speak with lewdness.
Yeah.
I'm going to
carry yourself in a demeanor
Yeah,
Good integrity.
you're gonna treat others how you want to be treated.
How do I, the lady said, you have to respect yourself, you need to wash things, you need to wear things clean, you need to do the right thing, you need to watch what you say,
Yeah, how you speak.
you need to watch how you speak, you don't want to speak over. All of that is being respectful of yourself,
And other people
and
around
at the same time, it's being respectful to those other people around you, right? So we need to learn, and look, you need to be teaching your children how to be respectful. So that's a really good point. But is that the best way to conduct yourself in this world?
I would say yes. I would say
With
yes.
morals, integrity.
You may not look. Being respectful, being nice, kind, good, and sweet
No,
to everybody that's around you.
That could get you in trouble.
It may not guarantee that you get all the material stuff that you want in your life, but I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to feel better about who you are. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry to like causes.
Well,
Like, just being respectful of yourself don't mean that you're nice to everybody though.
Okay.
You can be respectful of yourself and of other people and still hold yourself back to where you're not open to be, what do you say, hurt.
Yeah, you can protect yourself a little bit more than you really need to. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean, you gotta be nice, but you gotta have a boundary. That's what boundaries are for.
And we talked about that the other day. You can be nice, kind, sweet, and good, but that doesn't mean you let your boundaries down and you don't do what you're supposed to do. But Friday, we talked a whole lot about those boundaries, and we want to have what type of boundary?
Not a porous.
There were 3 boundaries. What were they?
Not rigid, not porous, rigid, but solid. No, hold on, I wrote it down. Hold on.
There's porous,
It's
rigid, and healthy.
Healthy.
And so we want to have those healthy boundaries. But even if we have healthy boundaries, we can still be nice, kind, good, and sweet to other people.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
What
So,
was the last one? Porous, rigid, and healthy.
healthy.
Thank you.
So spirituality is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way individuals seek and express meaning and purpose, and the way they experience their connectedness to the moment, to self, to others, to nature, and to the significant or the sacred.
Wow.
That's a whole bunch, isn't it?
Yes.
But look, listen to it. Spirituality is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way we seek and express meaning.
Express and seek.
Here's the deal. A lot of people go through life and their lives are meaningless. And they're meaningless first to who? Themselves. And if I cannot find meaning in my life, what does that mean for me?
You need a book, Purpose-Driven Life.
It means your direction is going to be all off. If you've got no purpose, what do you have to live for?
Right. That's exactly right. If I don't have any purpose, what do I have to live for? If I don't have a purpose, if I don't have any meaning in my life, what do I have to give to other people? If my life has no meaning, then this is why we need to have positive self-talk. This is why we need to be able to look at our future and see that I'm going to be something that's going to be meaningful, not only to me, but to other people. And that's going to take some spirituality, because here's the deal. It's hard for us to do, because being an addict is a selfish thing. It's really narcissistic, right?
Yeah.
It's really selfish. It's all about who?
Me.
It's all about me. Now, getting into our recovery has to be a bunch about me. Right now, it has to be a bunch about me, but I don't need it to be about me the rest of my life and about me to the exclusion of everybody else. Right? I need to get to the place where I know that in my future, there's meaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the understanding, I think, and the acceptance of realizing that you have to have other people.
Yeah.
And not be,
Yes, and we do have to have other people. We're going to look at probably sometimes this week Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Bad laws.
Maslow's.
Bad laws. Bad. I don't
yeah.
understand. You have to speak up a little bit better.
Okay.
Bad.
Maslow. That's a professor who came up with the hierarchy of needs. And we're going to look at that hierarchy of needs sometime this week because one of those needs is that we have to have love and belonging. And if we have to have love and belonging or we will die. So, this is the aspect of humanity that refers to the way that we seek and express meaning and purpose in our lives. My life has to have meaning and it has to have purpose. And here's the deal. If my life doesn't have meaning and my life doesn't have purpose, then what's to keep me from going back to the use of my drugs or my alcohol? Nothing. It doesn't matter. If my life has no meaning, my life has no purpose, then it doesn't matter if I use drugs or not. Right? Because my life doesn't mean anything to anybody, least of all me, and it has no purpose at all, so I might as well substitute not having any meaning in my life and not having any purpose in my life with just getting high.
Yeah.
And so now my purpose in life is to what? Get high.
Yeah.
So I need to have a higher purpose in my life. And so if I don't know what the higher purpose in my life is, I need to go to my higher power and say, okay, what'd you make me for? Here I am. Show me what you made me for. So it's at the higher meaning and the purpose and the way we experience our connectedness in the moment. That's why we do that mindfulness stuff. Just what's going on right now in this moment. What's happening right now? What's going on right now? How can I take this moment and make something out of it? How can this moment be special for me? And how can the next moment be special for me? So, says we get that connectedness to the moment. We get connected to ourselves. What is it that I really want for my life?
A better life.
A better life?
To be a
Better quality
life.
of life.
A what?
Quality.
Better quality of life. Better,
Better skills to cope with life.
Better skills, better coping skills. Yeah, because the one we were using before is not going to work anymore.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we need to do those things. We want those things out of life. Look, here's the deal. We have that connectedness to moment. We also have that connectedness to ourselves. But we also need to work on having that connectedness to other people. So here's the deal. When we don't have a higher power, what's our higher power?
Drugs.
Drugs usually become that higher power or ourselves. I'm really selfish, so therefore I'm a higher power. I'm my own higher power. But look, if I have a higher power, I get to the understanding that my higher power is with me. And when I'm treating someone a way that I shouldn't be treating that person, my higher power is right there.
He sees it.
So he sees it.
He convicts you.
He watch it. And that's a good word. He convicts me. So I'm saying, I need to change my attitude and my altitude. Right? I need to stop just a little bit different. We get that connected then to other people. And I can connect. Look, how many people do you know?
Thousands.
Thousands. You know thousands of people?
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
Do you need that? You know thousands of people on?
I don't know.
No,
but
personally,
but I know
First
that.
off, let me just share real quickly that all those people on Facebook, you don't know.
No, I mean
No,
personally. I know them.
None of those people. Usually we ask you about your friends when you come in here, how many people you trust. Usually it's between two and
Two. I know thousands, but two.
two and three people. And if you trust people on Facebook, so God bless you.
Oh, you.
Yeah, God bless you. That's fine. But usually we don't know all of those whole bunch of people, so it makes it possible for you to be connected to a few people.
Maybe.
I guess you just had to see that. Yeah. So to others, we want to really be connected to others and to nature. I have a cousin who used to worship trees. He has since come from that. And that doesn't mean that, hey, we're going to go out here and worship trees and all of that kind of stuff. But what we can do is we can see God in nature. Yeah. We can see what God has done. You know, look at a blade of grass or something. You know, that's so amazing to see what God has done. You know, what's God's favorite color?
Purple.
Purple, you think purple?
You don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. I kind of suspect it's green.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the grass and all of the trees and all the shrubs and all the bushes. Green.
Yellow.
A bluish green.
Like the rainbow.
No, that ain't nobody.
Turning in the middle of turning green.
Then look to nature, and then it says, look, we need to have that spirituality needs to get us to a place and will get us to a place where we get connected to something that's significant or something that's sacred to us. And this is when we're looking at a higher power that is sacred. When we call our higher power God, we can. You know, some people don't, and that's okay. But we call our higher power, I call my higher power God.
Mm.
You know, and to me, Jesus is sacred. He's sacred. You can also look at the church. That's a place of service, a place of sacredness, a place of holiness. It's a place where it's supposed to be. All of those kinds of things. So something significant. So what does that tell us all? We need to have something outside of ourselves. We need to have something outside of ourselves, right?
Right.
Needs to be something. And look, there's a lot of people who are deep in a search for something outside of themselves and have not been able to find that. But if we're still searching, what do? You continue to search. You open yourself up for a higher power. You first off believe that, look, I'm not all there is to it.
You have to have faith first.
Yeah, I'm not all there is to it. There's got to be something more than myself, right? There is. We're gonna look at a few myths about higher power. About spirituality, rather. Because the definition of spirituality means something different to everybody. It's often misunderstood or exclusively tied to religion. But that's not true, right? We'll tie it to religion. Now, remember, you can find spirituality. You go to church, you're going to find a lot of spiritual people there. You're going to find a lot of people who are not spiritual either. You're going to find a lot of people who are religious, right? I don't know if any of you were old enough. Y'all remember when the airplanes hit the towers?
No.
Y'all recall that?
I know where I was.
I know exactly where I was.
September 11th, 2001.
What caused those guys to go in to do that?
Another God. For
Their hatred.
Religion.
Religion.
It was just a religious act. That was all it was. So religion, we understand, kills. Spirituality does not. It's different. So because the definition of spirituality means something different, it's also often misunderstood or exclusively tied to religion. The confusion is understandable because spirituality is often depicted in extreme ways that make it seem remote from everyday life and experience. But anyone who has ever thought of something as meaningful has experienced spirituality. If something is really super meaningful to you, it can be spiritual in nature. It's not. Look, it's not necessarily God, but it can be spiritual. Right?
Yeah.
How many people like to fly?
Nope, I hate it.
You hate it.
But I'm flying out of here.
You don't like flying.
I never
I would
flew. I
have
never been on one.
I would never even make it to the
You'd
airport.
have a panic attack. Say that again.
I never flew on one, but I want to jump.
You don't want
You
to.
want to do
I just got that.
I had to clog my Bloody Mary.
I've never been on a plane before, but I want to skydive.
Are you
It's a
serious?
bucket list.
I want to too. I want to too. I want to do that too.
Well, on
I've several times.
my birthday's coming up in
You're not that bad.
November, and I'm gonna take the day and just go fly. I love to fly.
Have you ever
Flying
jumped
is
out of a
great.
plane?
I've never jumped out of a plane.
Have you ever parasailed or anything like that? No.
Calling somebody.
I fly 150s, 172s, little bitty airplanes.
A little Cessna.
However, if you fly in one of those little bitty airplanes, you don't have a parachute. You're kind of trusting it to go up and come back down the same way it went up.
You don't have a
Yeah.
parachute on
No.
in case that sucker gets
And that deals with
tuckers out. I'm scared.
And you don't usually get up high enough. You know, you're flying kind of low. And you don't usually get up high enough. You jumped out. By the time that parachute opened, you'd hit the ground. But that is like a spiritual thing for me because I get in there and it's just amazing.
I can't imagine. I bet it is amazing.
It is amazing. It's wonderful. If you fly out over the Gulf,
Oh,
that's
wow.
it, and it's just
When are you taking us for a ride?
yeah.
But I
That'll
don't
be a
want
great
to
process for you.
Absolutely, $150 an hour. That's what it costs to rent a 172 is almost $200 an
How
hour.
many can you fit in one?
3 and a
Holy
172, 1 and a 150.
Whoa.
The pilot and one other person. In a 172, you've got the pilot, and one other person in the front, and there's a really small seat in the back. And it's according to how much you weigh. Because if you weigh a little bit more than you ought to, then you can't carry as many. You know.
They were bringing the jet for me.
Alrighty, so then, but anyone who has ever thought of something as meaningful, you've engaged in that. And so that's meaningful to me. To be human is to interpret the meaning of our experiences. Even the belief that life is meaningless is still an interpretation of your experience in life. Right? Spirituality is something that is important for each and every one of us. Here's the deal. If you don't experience spirituality the way that I experience spirituality, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Is it okay for you just to say, well, there's no such thing as spirituality and just throw it in the dump? No. It's going to be really hard for us to stay in that place of recovery without some type of spiritual experience in our life. We need to have that right now, right this very moment. What we need is nicotine.
Yes.
So let's go outside. I'm not going because I'm smart.
Do you smoke?
Take a 15-minute break and we'll be back here
No,
at
he does
15
not
minutes
smoke.
after.
He's disrespectful now.
Yeah, well, no.
We're going to start now. Yeah. Hunter. There you go, buddy.
I'm trying to She keeping on this just cause she been over there doing me.
Ladies, I can hear us.
Nobody can see if she rested. I mean, not having a. Alright. Figure it out on your own. I said, nobody looking at me for cigarettes. I do not have enough.
The last longer when I don't have when I don't permit her. Oh. That's how I have straight. I perm my house. But I do it because of the last, I mean, you know, don't look all nasty. And I had it in there, but then when the hair got tangled, I was pulling it. This how it is. That's not all. Y'all got left out? Huh? You left out? Oh, okay.
Lord, help me understand.
Who is the fly? A home. Another purpose. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. I'll be back to take on the next. Bye.
Yeah, right back in here.
Roll up. Here we go. Billy go in. Alright, Miss Billy go. Miss Billy go. It's cold to you. Cold. Cold. Need some chips before Mr. Butter comes. My anxiety. I said, I need some chips before Mr. Butter comes in. Bro, but he on it today. Sally gonna say, I'm not doing her homework no more. Thank you. Oh. Yeah. What you put down? My chips. What you gave me? Yeah. I'm trying to eat them fast, but I look back down, I got like 3 little. Oh, that's what she got. She got a lot of shit. You will be smiling much. Yeah, there's that in the paper. And talk about baby daddy. I thought he was baby daddy. Yes, he did. Did you know? Yeah, I got on his ass like fucking no other. I've been calling you for I said every day. Now I call back up there. You can't call back up there. That's why you answer when I said answer. You tell her to call a certain time. He said, I will be in that doctor before I got it. And I said, what else is going to say? That's what I think we just, that was it. You know, that's what they need. You know, so when I talked to him, he's like, I'm proud of you. And no, but I won't be proud of you. I said, but you know, I said, you part of, but you're not answering. You put some stress on my brain. Yeah, put stress on your brain. Yeah. Can I put stress on your brain? Don't answer it, Ron. They gonna answer. Do you got some more spicy cheese? Spice? I don't know. I've been eating them. I will check for you. I'll check. I've been eating and giving them, but I will check. So you want the spicy crackers? I only have like 6. I only got them in a pack. You know what I'm saying? So I'll go check them. The Ritz crackers? They're good. She didn't even grab the spicy. She just grabbed cheese crackers and spicy. I thought you were good. Go check. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm coming to make coffee though, so you gotta deal with me anyway. What is the bag? Talking to Sean. She gives me hell. I give her hell, so she gives me hell. Where's my damn?
that.
I'm gonna get my snacks.
Drawer.
I gotta
You
go
don't
get
mind if I get it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't go in your room.
Is Shauna in the bottom?
No, she's not.
Oh, she doesn't buy them?
Okay. Are you going in there?
Yeah, no. Not going to
I'm going to suck the seasoning off these chips. That's good. They really good.
I need my sugar right quick.
I found me some new chips that I like. I think I'm about to eat every time I get some chips.
Extra taco? I want to try me some nachos.
Oh, thank you so much. You love me so much.
I got one too.
I'm
I had to think of that peanut butter in my face. No, fine. Oh, yeah. I got to get some.
Thank you.
I'm starved like a motherfucker.
This motherfucker.
Man, I want to eat a muffin.
You want to look at the baby?
Huh?
You want to look at the baby?
That's my Wednesday. I was in the food stamp office when I met you. So I can go to Baby daddy at the phone.
Today they're gonna get me my. I gotta take care of my food stamp. They're gonna sanction my ass.
They sanction me. I'm cut after this month. I gotta do what?
Oh, you gotta go to the virtual phone. Let's go.
No.
No, I agree. I don't know. Let's go. I was supposed to because I was mistakes right. So I gotta start over all the time. Hurry up, boss.
But I understand that. So.
I gotta knock about it.
Something my business.
I was trying to leave it to the computer for the
Go home.
You want it?
Yeah. I got it. Saturday, I got work.
Just so you folks know,
Yes, sir.
that when I put the thing over that like
They
that,
can still hear.
they hear you. Yeah, they can still hear you. They can't see, but they can hear you.
They don't know who we are.
I should start rapping too.
I got her right here in nothing.
No, please. I have a friend who has a group, and they rap Christian music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they're crazy people, but they're wonderful.
They're crazy people.
They are crazy. They're completely lunatic.
We're all crazy in some way.
Well,
Not we all.
Not all.
You don't think
Maybe-
we all have a little
maybe
bit of
not all
insanity in us?
No,
all right, we're gonna
Well,
get
how we are
started back.
addicted to something.
Calling yourself crazy.
Well, you know, hey,
All right, we're back, and we're going to go over some myths about spirituality. Tell me what a myth is.
Something made
A false.
Yeah, something false, something made up.
Story,
And
like
usually, myths are things that we make up and believe to be true. It's like some of the people believe in Bigfoot. Y'all believe in Bigfoot?
yes,
No.
yes, I seen him.
No.
She saw
No.
it, so you know,
I have
it must be
You see a
true.
big monkey.
in the woods. In the woods.
How about aliens? Are
You
there
see
aliens?
the deliverance folks.
Yes.
Some of these myths we've made up. Some people have made up a bunch of myths about spirituality as well. And so we're going to take a good close look at that.
I'm curious.
Well, religion plays a key role in a lot of people's spiritual life. Spirituality is not exclusively tied to religious organization or practice. But like we said already, you can find spirituality in religious activity. You can find, and there's most religious organizations have spirituality in them. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sure it is. Sure it is. Some people find their spirituality in the practice of religion. All right? But it's not exclusive to religion. Religion typically involves traditions, rites, rituals, and the search for ultimate truth. That's true. In our church, we do it a little bit different. We try to get more toward the spiritual end of things than the religious rites and all of those things. Although we do, once a month we have the Lord's Supper and we do this and we have business meetings. We do those kinds of things. We have people come down the aisle. We do baptisms, all those kinds of things. But it's more important to be to understand spiritual things than it is to understand rules and regulations and all that.
Question.
So, yeah, where'd you go? Oh, yeah.
I know. Like you just said, the supper. On first Sunday, you do the supper. That would be man-made, because that was man-made.
Yeah, but that's one of those rules and regulations and rights that we follow from our holy book.
Okay.
And there's other people who have other holy books. Those books are holy to them, and they follow those rights and those rules and those regulations from there. But spirituality can be something that is a private thing as well as a public thing, right? It doesn't have to be a corporate thing. What does that mean? That means I don't have to practice that with someone else. Spirituality is, of course, a broader concept. It's not just what's housed in that one situation. Including a more general search for personal meaning and interconnectedness. That's a big old word. What does interconnectedness mean?
It means you're together.
Yeah, I am connected with my higher power, with my nature as I see it, and with other people. I'm connected with all of these things. So, religion and spirituality are by no means entirely distinct one from another. This is why you can find spirituality in religion, because they both involve a couple of things, or several things. First off, both of them involve believing in something bigger than myself. Spirituality means I'm not the end all of creation. As an addict, there was a time in my life when I was totally selfish. It's all about me. That's why we'll steal Grandma's silverware. That's why we'll take Mama's truck. That's why we'll do, I can remember, I'm not going to say stealing, that sounds so bad, but I can remember taking my mom's jewelry. And my mother was a very poor person, didn't have much at all. So to take her jewelry was a really nasty thing. But see, it was all about make any difference. She didn't have anything. It didn't make any difference. She wouldn't have anything after that. She would not be ever able to replace that, right? So, but it didn't make any difference because what? Self-serving, self-centered. It's about me. There's a fly. My God. See, that's what comes to y'all all eating all this stuff. I don't know what are those things?
Dried cherries.
What are they?
Dried cherries.
Cherries?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're good.
I ate one of those. Are the sweetest, nastiest things
Yeah.
God,
Good.
I bet they shot my sugar way up. I'm telling you, that is crazy meth. People eat that. Yeah. So anyway, believing that there's something bigger than myself.
Okay.
And look, nowadays I don't have a problem with that at all. It's pretty easy for me to think that there's much bigger than me. I know that God is way beyond who I'll ever be. God is much bigger than I am. But there's, other people are even more than I am. I mean, I'm very little. I'm very, very less than. than other people. I mean, there's some people out there that's just magnificent, wonderful, and all of that kind of stuff, and just really good people. And I'm not that. And I'm not all that. And so I do know that there's something bigger than me, right?
Excuse me.
It's easy for me to believe that there is a higher power. If that higher power, in order to be my higher power, only has to be higher than me. Right? Doesn't have to be. Now, my higher power is higher than anything. My higher power is higher than the universe. My higher power is higher than 35 million universes. Right? Because my higher power created all of those universes. But my higher power only has to be higher than me. If I can get to the place where I can understand that I have a higher power that's just higher than me, that's going to get me to the place where I can get into spirituality in a real place, right? All right, so here's the second thing. This is where religion and spirituality are kind of the same. Finding comfort in a belief system. Do you find? I find comfort in believing that the Lord Jesus Christ loves me, cares for me, no matter what I've done. You know, there's a thing that we teach in our church that it doesn't make any difference what you've done. You can't make God love you anymore. You can't make God love you any less. Right? He loves you. That's just the way that is. And whatever you do, it doesn't matter. You're not going to change the way He feels about you. He loves you if you do bad. He loves you if you do good. It's better to do good, right? You get blessed doing good, all that kind of stuff, but that's not going to change how He feels. So I find comfort in that. Anybody fail in your attempt to be a good person?
Yeah.
I do. I have. Yes, all the time. Yes. But what's comforting? My higher power loves me anyway. So that's a comfort. And whatever comfort, whatever belief system you have that belief system so that you can gain some comfort from it, right? Because nobody else in the world may like you, love you, give a flip about you, but your higher power does. Right? Okay. And then here's another, searching for meaning in experiences. I was talking to a young lady this morning who was talking about finding some meaning in some experiences. When we go to church, we get some meaning out of the experience of having a good worship service or something like that. Or we go out in the woods. We just walk through the woods, and have a mindfulness moment when we watch a squirrel run up the tree.
Yeah.
That kind of, when we can look, that's spiritual stuff. When I go flying on my birthday and I'm avoiding the clouds around, trying to go around them and stuff, that's spiritual stuff. Those clouds are bumpy. Y'all know that. You get inclined. A little bit of airplane, it's not good. So, searching for meaning in those, living by a set of rules or values.
That's called morals.
Rules.
Living by rules or values?
Or values. Living by, even if you're not going by the religious rules that are at a church or something like that, whatever your higher power is, usually comes a set of rules or values that goes with that. Someone who is really into nature is not probably going to start a forest fire, right?
Yeah.
Not probably going to go and throw some real nasty stuff in the creek. They're not going to do. They have those values that they are following as well. So in those two areas, religion and spirituality kind of converge, right? They kind of come together. So experiencing awe in the face of something transcendent. What does that mean? When I go to church and I feel the presence of God there. I get a sense of awe in that. When you go and you look at the mountain, you get a sense of awe. in that, right? There's a lady in the back having a sense of awe. She's crying and all. So when I'm flying and the engine quits, I get a sense of awe at that point in time. When it gets super duper quiet and you go down through and you know I'm gonna die in 10 minutes because you know the engine quit. You're at 3,000 feet, so you know you're about to. But usually you have a set of things that you have to do, a process, and the engine will come back on. Usually. So what are the benefits of being spiritual? What are the benefits of spirituality in my recovery? Well, how do I get benefit from being spiritual?
It's peaceful. Recovery is peaceful.
Peaceful? Okay. Yeah, I'm at peace
Regain
with
your
myself.
relationships. Regaining your relationships.
You can regain some relationships. Do we want to regain some relationships?
No.
Some, yeah.
Some of them, maybe so. Some of them, maybe no. Do I want to regain relationships with people I used to use drugs with? No.
With your higher power.
I do want to regain a relationship with my higher power. That's a really good point.
How about family?
Because when I get to the point where I'm all there is, then I'm not dealing with my higher power. I'm not talking to him. I'm not trying to get him involved in anything that I do. So now that I'm back to where I need to be, well, okay. I can get reconnected with my higher power. I can get reconnected. And someone said family. Is that a good idea to reconnect with your family?
Sometimes
if
no.
your family isn't people you used to get high with.
Sometimes
If
no.
your family is not somebody you used to get high with,
Or
but
if they're in their active
have,
addiction. Or if they're in their active addiction.
if they're in active addiction right now, you don't want to get involved with those people. They are people who just happen to be a part of your life, but you know you can move on from that, right? Right? Yeah. We're all adulterated now. We're all full grown and all that kind of stuff. So there's some benefits of spirituality that I want to mention to you, and then we will move along. Man, I hate that stuff. My thing printed on both sides. I didn't want it to. So here's the deal. Growing research. They've done a whole lot of research. They've done a lot of meta-analysis. What does that mean? A whole bunch of different analysis. A whole bunch of different people looked at the situation and they came up with the same kind of stuff. It says, look, spiritual practice don't just help people find purpose and meaning in their lives. They can measurably improve physical health, mental health, and overall well-being. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It does to her. She immediately said, yes, it makes sense to me. It doesn't make all that much sense to me. Sometimes when I think about it, how can me having an active prayer life help my physical health?
Because you feel better about yourself.
You feel better about yourself. That don't help my physical health.
No, but it makes you get up.
It makes you get up. She said, yeah. And she don't talk like that I do. I'm from Mississippi, so I talk like that. I ain't been over here long enough to learn Texanese yet.
Texanese.
You know, I've been married to my wife for 52 years, and she's a normal Texan. Every time she speaks, she uses double negative. Nowhere but Texas have I.
What's a double negative?
A double negative. I ain't got none.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Them are good words.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. They're not words. That's not really good.
Grandma said ain't is not a word.
That's
It is
really
a word. It's a good word. I ain't got it.
Actually, ain't is a word. It's in the,
Ain't a word.
It's a little.
Yeah, put it in the dictionary. They put it in the dictionary.
ain't has been accepted as a word for the United States, and it's
Well,
it's
it used to never be in the dictionary.
AINT.
Yeah, but they English teachers used to say ain't a word and I ain't.
I want to see
And
it.
they ain't gonna use it.
So here's some of the stuff. These are some of the regular spiritual practice can do some of these things for you. It can increase compassion, empathy, and attention. That's what you were saying. It can make you get along better with other people. Contemplative practices like meditation and things like that. Meditation,
Medication's good.
gratitude,
Meditation.
not medication,
Meditation.
meditation, devotional, can encourage inner reflection, thinking about yourself, thinking how you need to change some things. They can allow you to understand yourself and others more fully and generously. These practices can also help you pay more attention to and appreciate life's little pleasures. What's a little pleasure?
Little eating this with this.
What is
it?
Little fun.
Yeah.
Little fun.
You said little thing.
Little pleasure. What's small pleasures in life?
View in nature.
Accomplishment.
Being able to have some ice in your cup.
Being able to have some ice in
Having
your cup.
real sugar.
Eating
Real sugar, yeah.
That's a
Having
little
gum.
Watching
Just
the
look
sun
out.
rise.
You know, when you have a nice meal, that's a small pleasure. We're all going to eat something. Yeah, today, some of you in here may not be able to eat anymore because you're full. But that's a small pleasure to be able to do something like that. My wife and I went out after church yesterday, and we had a nice little meal. And the gentleman brought me a cup of coffee, and it was really good coffee. That's just a small pleasure. So we can recognize small pleasures and be able to appreciate those a little bit more if we are connected spiritually. Improve your sense of connectedness. We need to have a sense of connectedness. Spiritual communities like churches, meditation groups, classes can be sources of social support. Do we need that?
Yeah.
We do need that. We need to have an AA group. We need to have an NA group. We need to have some kind of group that helps us connect, celebrate recovery, whatever it is, helps us connect to other people in the same situation that we're. It's good for me to know that Bobby over here has the same issue I have, and he and I are working together to get it lined out. It's good, so we can be connected. Going to church, we get connected with people who are of the same belief, right? When we go to do some other kind of groups, some meditation groups, is it okay to meditate?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bible says to meditate on God's Word. Find something that's worth meditating on and meditate on that. Meditate on your children sometimes. Think about those little guys, how their noses run with little green boogers, stuff like that. So it's good for you to do those things. This, it helps it provides people with a sense of belonging, security, and community. Because our spiritual community is comprised of people who are similar values, it offers an opportunity to form strong, fulfilling friendships. This doesn't just improve your mental state, it can actually boost your physical health. Feeling good, like you said earlier, feeling good about who you are can boost your physical health. That's an important thing. It can help us to live a healthier life. Spiritual tradition have rules about treating the body with kindness and respect, right? Mm-hmm. Our church believes that this is that your body is what?
A temple.
The temple of God. And we talk to people who at break time, they run outside, they suck sulfur and 7,000 different cancer-causing agents into their lungs. You do know that's the temple of God, right? So when we're going out from here and our addiction says, look, we want to use this, we want to use that, we can talk to our higher power and say, hey, if this is the temple of God, then I'm not going to do that, right? All right. So we're going to treat our bodies with respect, with kindness. This can include avoiding harmful behaviors like eating specific foods. Drinking in excess or smoking. We might not do those things because that's not kind to our body, right?
Caffeine's bad for your body too.
Caffeine is bad for your body. I love it. I tell people, you ought not be smoking now because smoking is bad for you. They'll always point at the cup of coffee.
Yeah. It's true though.
So how many people last year died from smoking?
A lot.
A liar.
You wrote it down, but I don't
300
remember.
300-something thousand.
300 and something thousand people. How many people died from drinking coffee?
Maybe one or two.
About 150,000.
If that. If that. They don't really keep up with it because nobody. I mean, this actually, they did the meta-analysis, which means a lot of analysis on coffee drinking and diabetics. Coffee drinking, 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day will help you not get diabetes.
Really?
Once you've gotten it, it helps to moderate.
Yeah,
Whoa.
just a black cup of
That's
coffee.
awesome.
We're not
Just a
talking about
black cup of coffee. Don't put the junk
No
y'all put in the
sugar, no
coffee.
creamer.
My wife puts so much stuff in coffee it smells like candy. So, drinking in excess, smoking, by connecting these practices to a larger spiritual purpose, you're more likely to stick to them and make healthier choices, right? If I'm putting, if I'm looking at my body as the temple of God, and I'm not going to put anything in the temple that's bad for it, then I'm going to be looking at everything that I'm putting into that temple, whatever it is, and I'm going to make healthier choices. So it helps. Encourages you to work through negative emotions, letting go of negative emotions like blame, anger, jealousy, and frustration. That's a really important part of a whole lot of spiritual tradition. When I'm meditating, when I'm in prayer, when I'm doing all of these things, I'm usually not thinking about somebody I really don't like. It's hard to be really nasty and it's hard to really hate somebody while you're praying for them. If you're praying for them, it's hard not to. You don't have to like them, but it's hard to hate somebody.
Sorry.
These emotions are inevitable, but look, we all have these emotions. We all have this junk in our lives, but keeping them in check doesn't just improve your mood and overall well-being. It helps you physically. Lower amounts of negative emotions have been linked to longer lifespans, improved immune function, lower blood pressure, and better cardiovascular health. So what's cardiovascular?
Your heart attack.
Your heart and your lungs and all that kind of stuff up there working and everything, because it keeps a lot of the stress and a lot of the mess out of your life. And if you get that out, look, but a whole bunch of people every year pass away from stress-related diseases. Stress will give you stroke, and stress will give you heart attacks, and stress will do all of that stuff. And anger causes stress. How many people have anger issues? It's like you're proud of that.
Me.
Man. We're going to have an anger thing coming up, but we just had one not too long ago, and nobody listens in anger because we really thoroughly, completely enjoy being able to say I have an anger issue.
I don't care.
I just can't help, boss.
I don't care.
When I get angry, buddy, people just leave the county. That's right. Everybody's scared when I'm. No.
But some people, it's hard for them to get angry. They deal with it differently. I'm just saying, I get upset, but I have got angry, but I'm not an angry person. I do.
You're a noisy.
Yeah.
That
I am.
All right, look.
I will agree. I will fully agree.
It makes it easier to overcome hardships. A spiritual framework can help you to make sense of life's most difficult events. I told y'all about my friend who died not this last Sunday, but Sunday last. He's in his early 40s, and we still don't know why, and that is so frustrating. You know, they said they have to do they got to do an autopsy, and they're still waiting on the autopsy results. You know what I'm saying? My God, where did they send them tomorrow?
Sometimes it takes a month
Yeah,
or two.
I hope
Because
it
my
don't
uncle
take
had
that
to take. It took him a month.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so frustrating, you know. His mom and dad are waiting to know those things, and it's just way frustrating. But because they have a spiritual connection, they're okay. You know, I've gone and sat with them, and they're okay with what's going on right now. They know they're going to have to wait until that is taken care of because we don't know what he died of. You know, the guys that died down in Guadalupe, we know pretty much what happened to those guys. We don't know what happened to Bob. You know, we have no idea. So it's going to take a minute to figure that out. And they are, you know, they can rest in the fact that they know where he is spiritually. Yeah, you know, his body is another thing, and we will eventually find out. So, you know, at some point. So it's easier to overcome those hardships. What about if you're financially in a bad place? Is it easier to overcome those hardships financially if you have a higher power?
Yeah.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
Sure it is. Maybe not for her, but for everybody else it is. Sure it is. You know, if I don't have, if I'm lacking in something, and then I go to my higher power, I can get comfort, and I can get supply.
What do you mean?
You know, you pray about it, and your higher power.
If
If you have a real, actual, truthful higher power, then if he does have any power, he can do something about your situation. I've had that happen. I've had that happen in my life a few times. So look, even when you have, it makes it. Wait a minute, I'm trying to get this straight. A spiritual framework can help you make sense of life's more difficult events, even enabled you to find meaning and growth in them. Recognizing the universality of suffering. What does that mean?
So universality.
Universality of suffering. What does that mean?
Universal.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Everybody has issues that happen in their life, right?
Yeah.
Everybody does. And here's the difference. Here's the thing. Sometimes we have a moment of suffering, right? What does a moment of suffering mean?
It's just a small.
It's temporary.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to go. I don't want to do anything crazy. I don't want to do anything extreme right now because here's the deal. This too shall pass. Right? It's not going to be. This is not. It may feel like it's going to last forever. It may feel like that we're stuck right here and we ain't ever going to get unstuck. But that's not true. It's going to. Just whatever it is, it's going to pass. So.
They talked about that in my church yesterday.
Did that?
Message was being an overcomer.
Oh yeah.
St. John 16:33.
Yeah, we need to be an overcomer. At our church, I'm the pastor there, and we talked. Our service was on why you ain't giving more money.
Yeah,
Really?
No, it wasn't.
Hey, it could have been.
Could have been, but no.
You ain't taking care of your.
It even enabled you to grow through meaning and get some personal growth in your life through whatever's going on right now. You know, we all need to grow a little bit, right?
Yes.
So if we understand the universality of that, it helps us to understand that I'm not the only one going through this mess.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that this has ever happened to. I'm not the only one that right now probably this is happening to. Probably thousands of other people out there are having similar issues. And so I'm not by myself in this. It's really important for us because I'm going to tell you, when you get out there and your addiction jumps on you again, you're going to feel alone, right? right in the midst of all of our friends and family and co-workers and all of that stuff, we're still going to feel alone.
Yep.
But we're not. Thousands of us doing the same thing. This is all part. These hardships that we're going through right now are shared experiences with thousands and thousands and thousands of other people. Right? It's important for us to know that. It's helpful for us to know that. So what are some of the spiritual practices that we can take up if we don't have any spiritual practice? What are some of them that we can take up and work through and help us to get to a place where we're closer? Prayer.
Meditation.
What is it?
Meditation.
Meditation. Yeah, that's the first one we're going to look at. How many people meditate?
I don't know how.
You don't know how? Okay. Some of us meditate. Some of us don't know how. But look, it's pretty simple to meditate. If you want to meditate on some of the Bible, just pick you out a scripture and to meditate. And what meditating is to sit down, calm down, and think about it. Just think about it. What does that mean to me? Go out and walk around the building here, look at some of the trees and some of the stuff, and just sit down somewhere in the back there and say, what does that mean? Why did God make that tree? Why is that right there where it's supposed to be? Just meditate on it. Just think about it. A lady that said she walked around the thing, and instead of seeing the trees and all of that kind of stuff that you can see out here, she noticed there's a dog across in the other yard.
Three.
Okay. And yeah, 3 dogs. So, and they all want to kill her. They're all trying to figure a way out through the fence. Meditation typically involves self-regulating the mind's normal internal monologue.
Monologue.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What does that
You
mean?
talk with yourself.
Yeah,
Monologues
monologue.
is just a dialect or like a conversation. But
Yeah, just talking to yourself. You are always here. We are always talking to ourselves. We always have a thought language that's going on in our mind. We're always thinking. We're always talking. It never ceases to amaze me. I have people tell me, well, my mind's different than everybody else's. I can't shut my mind off. Everybody's mind's like that. Everybody's mind goes all the time. They race all the time. Everybody's does.
do you know there are some people that think in pictures, and then there are people that think in words, and then there are people that think in both?
Yeah, and there's people who think in muck, and there's people who think in mire, and there's
Well, I mean,
people
like,
who
you
think
know, the dialogue you have, or the conversation you have with yourself, or some people, they don't think in words, they think in pictures.
Yeah. I think in soup.
Sorry.
She says some people think in words, and some people think in pictures. And, some people think in soup, and I think in soup. Yeah, okay. So meditation involves self-regulation of that normal internal monologue. Because that thing is running all of the time. I wonder what that girl's looking at me like that for. I wonder what they're going to cook for lunch today. All of that's running soup. See, that's why I think in soup. Because it's soup. Always going to be soup. Yeah. But we have to regulate that. When we're doing our meditating, we sit down and we regulate that. What does that mean? That means that I'm going to make my mind think of what I want to think of. I want to make my mind think of something in specifics. So I'm not just going to let it ramble. I'm not going to let it just kind of go along like it usually goes along. I'm going to make it do something I want it to. So here's the deal. We can get the way that we get the mind to that place is either by breathing deeply, focusing on a specific point in space, or practicing mindfulness. Now, look, I'm not the biggest fan of mindfulness, but it does work. So, what does mindfulness mean? What am I doing?
It goes along with self-respect.
I'm putting mindfulness means I'm thinking in the moment. Whatever's going on right now is what I'm concerned with, what I'm thinking about. If I'm in the woods, I'm thinking about where I am, what I'm doing. I'm watching the squirrels and the rabbits or whatever it is. When I'm in class, when I'm in group like this, mindfulness would mean I'm thinking about the moment, what's going on in here, what is being taught, how is that going to affect me, all of those kind of things. So, mindfulness, anybody know who Russell Brand is?
Yep.
Do you really? I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
I think he's funny.
I'm so sorry. He's supposed to be a comedian, but he's supposed to be an actor.
Is he Australian or is he
supposed to be doing it?
Okay.
But he describes mindfulness as negotiation with your feelings. So, you're negotiating with your feelings, you're talking about yourself, you're looking at all of these kinds of things, and you're saying, why do I feel that way about this thing? In general, meditation is a range of practices that are used to promote relaxation, increase awareness, and develop compassion for oneself and for others. Right? Okay. So here we're gonna close up on this on that stuff and show you a couple of things real quickly, and then we'll get out of here. If you're new to meditation, take it slow. We want to set aside a few minutes to practice, gradually increasing the amount of time you feel comfortable. Before beginning, find a comfortable position. Either you can sit down, you can lay down. I do a lot of meditating walking. So whatever's comfortable for you. I get a scripture that I want to meditate on, and I'll walk around. I have 8 acres of land. I'll walk around my place and just meditate on that. What is God saying when He said this? When He said, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself." What does that mean?
That's a good little walk.
I don't walk around the whole thing.
Oh.
I walk around part of it.
But
if you're meditating on love your neighbor as you love yourself, what does that mean?
Treat
yourself.
That's exactly what it means.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure my neighbor's needs are met. I was working on my wife's car one time, working on her cheap trucks, and I was changing. I had to pull the gas tank out from under my truck, from under her truck. So I was under there, and it still had gas in it. Those things can be heavy,
Yeah.
And I was under there fooling with that thing, and all of a sudden there's another guy under the truck with me. It was weird. He was, he was bigger than me. Most guys are, because I'm not that big. But and he helped me get that thing down, and we slid it out from under the truck and pulled it over there to the side. And I stood up. He stood up, and I said, "Well, hey, thank you." He was my neighbor from across the street. He had just bought the house across the street. And he saw me struggling with that thing and came across. See, that's thinking of your neighbor. Say that again?
Thinking about your neighbor.
Yeah, he was thinking about me, saw me struggling, and came to make sure that I was okay. That's what we do when we're thinking about our neighbors, as loving our neighbors as we love ourselves. And so, we became good friends. Because I like people who get under the truck and do some work for me. I enjoy those kind of people. According to the National Center for Complementary Integrative Health.
One more time. Integrated community.
Yeah, that's the NIH. Y'all ever heard of that?
No.
National Center for Complementary Integrative Health. Regular meditative practice inspires a whole host of physical and mental benefits, including if you meditate a bunch of lots, it's going to lower your blood pressure. How many people know that it's a good thing to get your blood pressure under control? And you don't want it too low, because if it gets too low, you die, right? But you want to get it low. Which one is the most important? The top number or the bottom number?
The bottom. The bottom.
Why is the bottom number the most important?
It's about your heart.
Because
It's your heart. It's the blood coming out of your
it is your heart rate, yeah. So when does your heart rest?
When
When
you're
you're dead.
between beats.
In between beats.
Between beats.
And it's resting when the lower number. That's when it's resting. So if your lower number is way high, guess what?
It's resting too often.
Your heart's not resting. And you're going to have a heart attack or a stroke and you're going to croak fast, right? So you need that lower number to be 70, 74, something like that, right? So that's when your heart is resting. Meditation will bring that into line. So we need to be, I think that's one of the physical things it'll do. It will also, if you meditate, meditation will bring your heart rate down. What's a good heart rate?
50.
50, 52, 54. You don't want your, now, when you exercise, your heart rate goes up. And then what does it do?
Creases your heart, makes your heart pump faster.
It makes your heart pump faster. It does all of that kind of stuff. But then when you stop exercising, it's supposed to go down.
Yeah.
So what does it tell you if your heart rate goes down quickly?
Eat a cracker.
Eat a cracker.
That you didn't work out hard enough?
Now, it tells you you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Because if your heart rate goes way up, and then by the time you walk out of the gym, it's back down to where it's supposed to be, you're in pretty good shape. But if your heart rate gets up and it stays up for 2 hours, then something's wrong. You're not in very good shape. But it'll lower your. It also, and this is a real neat thing. Meditation will improve your blood flow. It'll improve your blood circulation because it's improved your blood pressure. It's improved your heart rate, so it's going to improve your blood circulation. It also, all of this stuff, once it's like that, will decrease anxiety in your life. If you meditate, you won't be so agitated, right? If you meditate, it will lower the anxiety level in your life. So we need to begin. How many people suffer from anxiety? Yeah, everybody in the world. Most of us who use drugs and alcohol have issues with anxiety, depression, bipolar. And if we would do some of the things that we need to do, like meditate, we could take some of that stuff off our plate. Increased feelings of well-being. Somebody said that already. But just make you feel good about yourself. Just make you feel, okay, everything is all right. What time is it?
I don't know.
Oh, you wasn't looking at the clock.
No.
We look like you were looking at the clock, looking right off out that way, and you're just looking at the pictures on the wall. And it's just happened to be a clock down there too. I don't understand. It will all. Oh, if you're fixating on the picture in the wall, yeah, we all. It also will cause a whole lot less stress in your life. All right. So if we meditate, if you have any stress in your life, I have a little stress in my life, you know, from time to time, and meditation will help you do that. It will help you lower the stress level in your life. Is it important to get the stress level lowered in your life?
Yes.
It is. Stress will kill you, right? A lot of people croakify from stress. All right, so I appreciate you guys. Y'all did a really good job. Most of you, some of you were, just eating. But anyway.
I was not.
I was not.
I did.
So thank you. And look, make sure you turn in your sign-in sheets over there. And we will